Benoit Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy.
Yes. Look, we've already talked a little bit about it, but you know, going into this fight, all the hype was on Hoofy, and everybody was in the gutter about Benoit. If you look at what people are talking about Benoit Saint Denis, they're like, "This guy's a bum. I can't believe this guy fooled us into thinking he was elite." All this stuff, and it's like, hey man, like this is he's a Terminator. We always knew there was, maybe things lacking as far as head movement, defense, footwork, but he's still a Terminator and he's still very good. He's just dropped a couple. And if you look at who he's lost to, it's not that big a deal, you know? Like he got
Mm,
stopped by Dustin. He almost finished Dustin in that fight. Yes, his fight IQ was maybe questionable, so we got a new head coach. And we're like, hey, let's pump the brakes on this guy sucks. And maybe he's just fighting in a very tough division. And then
yeah.
Hoofy, on the flip side, untouchable. Untouchable. So this was like all the hype scales were like they were like this, and then now they're like this.
Yeah.
And everyone's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, Benoit Saint Denis, I underestimated him and I very much overestimated Hoofy. And you're like, well, there was always questions about Hoofy. We never seen him getting taken down. We never seen him, all these things. And then on top of that, and like Ghost says, there's almost no nuance when talking to the MMA fan base. And look, part of this is everyone's saying, what was Hoofy thinking? He didn't look the same. He didn't have that killer instinct. He wasn't. Why was he moving backwards so much? It's like, what are you talking? He moves backwards so he can line up his long shots. Benoit Saint Denis is coming forward. He has to step back so that he can land his kicks or his straight punches, things like that. On top of that, at the start of that second round, dude, he caught Benoit Saint Denis with the first four strikes he threw. He was lighting him
Mm.
up, and they were just not even talking about it. No one mentioned anything about it, but he landed some nasty strikes on Benoit. But Benoit just walks right through him because he's a fucking tank.
He's a
But
savage.
but that doesn't mean that Hoofy looked different. I don't think he really looked different. I think we haven't seen him fight someone who has a top game like Benoit, and we've seen Benoit really go. His takedown offense, his grappling offense is very like he's got a pretty dominant style that we haven't really seen lately, but he still has always had it. His grappling is very cool. I just don't think this is we should be writing anybody off this fight. I think it was just a sick performance by Benoit.
Look, the first fighting nerd that lost for the males in that group was Carlos Prates, right?
Correct.
And it was the same thing where he goes to Li Jingliang, he beats Neil Magny, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, these fighting nerds!" He loses to a really good fighter, Ian Machado Gary, and everybody said the same thing. I overestimated Carlos
Yeah,
Prates.
yeah,
We need to slow down. He's not as good as I thought he was. Then he comes back in
yeah.
and knocks Jeff hands of steel Neil out, bro, with that spinning back elbow.
And the hype's through the roof again.
And the hype's to the roof again. Look, exact same thing's going to happen with Rufi. Exact same thing's going to happen with Bahalio. Everybody, don't worry about the fighting nerds. They are really good. They're
Yeah,
very well coached. They have great game plans coming in. Sometimes things just don't work out,
yeah,
right? Sometimes there's still
100%.
work to do. Not everybody could
Exactly.
just blitz through everybody and go undefeated in their career. It's very rare when that happens,
Yes.
especially in MMA.
Yeah, and it's not like he took a ton of damage where he's like, "Oh man, he's never going to be the same after this fight." Like, it's fine. He got taken down. That is probably a pretty big eye opener for him and his team. Of let's maybe address this. The commentary was talking about how it was stupid for him to when he hit the sweep, or he didn't really hit the sweep. This has been happening a lot lately. I don't know if you've noticed, but body triangles. If you can get to all fours, and someone's got a body triangle, especially, a lot of times these guys are slipping and ending up on their back, and then you end up in their guard. That's been
Mm,
happening a lot lately. It hasn't
yeah.
been like for a long time. It was get the lock onto the floor, get the lock side onto the floor. That puts pressure on it. Then you can start to separate that and end up on top. It's not really the game anymore. It seems like it's like elevate and then they'll gravity will do some of the work for you, and then you end
This is
up
one
on
of the things
top.
I love about MMA is that it
Yeah, it
never
just keeps
stops
changing.
evolving, dude. Do you
Yeah,
remember just back in the day when we first started watching, Will? You were just a young pup, right? And somebody gets a mount, and you're like, "Oh, it's done.
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap, dude. That ground and
Yeah,
pound, and you're just done." Now somebody gets a mount. Sometimes fighters will let somebody get a mount so they can buck turn because they'd
yeah,
rather have somebody on their back, right? Because
yes,
now they can defend off that so
Yeah.
well. Like and the evolution continues, and I love seeing it. This is what I love about the sport. Something I want to call out real quick from Benoit Saint Denis, uh,
Hmm.
when he would fake the level change, right? So he'd go down with the right and then come up with that overhand left
Yeah.
at the exact same time. Boom, boom. And that landed like 2 or 3 times with
Hmm.
Ruffy. So where Ruffy had to react a lot more now and
Yes.
think to himself, okay, it's just a fake level change and he's going to be coming up with that right. Because
Hmm.
at first he was just moving the left leg back when he'd see that fake level change, but then he'd be getting clocked. Now it
Yeah.
forced
Yeah.
him to pick one or the other, and he was like, I don't know what to do. But it was really nice from Benoit Saint
Yeah.
Denis.
And if you're and the other thing was the high kick. The high kick was nice. The open side
Yes.
high kick from him,
Yes.
get the guard up and then shoot immediately off the high kick was sick. And if you're the fighting nerds and you're looking at the last few performances from Benoit Saint Denis, the ones that everybody else wrote him off from, you're thinking this guy's going to come in and probably just try to throw hooks and I'll be able to step back and snipe him. And now he's high kicking you and as soon as you get your vision back, he's on your legs and now you're like, oh shit, this is a different game plan. He's got a new camp. Like this is. I really don't. I don't put too much stock in this loss on Hoofy. I don't. And I'm not even a huge
Yeah.
fanboy. It's not like I'm like clouded by like fighting nerds hype. I just don't think. I think Benoit was very good.
Next episode, you're gonna have tape in the middle of your glasses.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm
I
not
don't
even
have it.
that
I don't
bought
have it
into the
there right
fighting
now.
nerds, guys. I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking
I don't know what
about.
you're talking about. We're just wearing full violence shirts.
Yeah. All right. Will, I will let you kind of
But
just take the
real
reins on the
quick though,
next few fights as we go,
this
just to
this
save some time.
shot this shot of Ian Gary reacting to the finish and then Pratas crying into the flag, dude, was fucking classic.
Tough. Tough. Hey, everybody. Romero and Will here. Thank you for watching that short clip. Just so you know, that was a small excerpt from what we covered this last Sunday, right, Will?
Yeah, we cover the entire event every weekend. So this was just a cutout from the live stream that we did. The link to that live stream is in the description. So if you want to hear about the other fights that night, it's down below in the description. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell because we go live every Sunday to cover events. And if you do that, you'll know for next week and you can tune in and be in the chat and get featured on the show just like everybody else was on this clip.
We hope to chat with you live.